It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Call this part 2, and we're going to make it a dumb football questions edition here of the O-Line Committee podcast. Click that like button and the subscribe button if you love football and you love the trenches. 16 years of combined experience. Jeremiah Sirles, Alex Boone. I'm going to hit you with this one. We'll start with the NFC Championship game. But I feel like, and we've kind of touched on this, but we've been so distracted as a football world by Nick Sirianni's edginess and quirkiness, and A.J. Brown just being kind of a diva, reading his Inner Excellence book on the sidelines.
Shows up in a Honda. Love it.
I mean, it's like those two lightning rod figures have distracted us from it. My dumb football question is, do we have to start asking ourselves why the blind resume test is 10 times more impressive for the Eagles than the way that they're perceived? I mean, you guys, I'm wrong all the time with picks, but you guys picked the Commanders. Half the world thought the Commanders were going to walk in there. But if I were to say to you, okay, forget about like what you know about Sirianni and A.J. Brown. The home team hosting the Commanders is one of the probably two most dominant teams in the trenches in the entire league, both sides. Maybe the most dominant. Almost impossible to stop on third and short, fourth and short. All-time great running back. Crazy weapons at wide receiver. A top 10 quarterback who can move when he's not hurt. They're analytically sound in the way that they go for it on fourth down. And they have a head coach who has the best winning percentage of any active head coach in the NFL. Already been to a Super Bowl 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Of course they're going to, yes, they're getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The blind, when you look at their resume and ignore, Sirianni fighting with fans and A.J. Brown
amazing.
Reading self-help books.
I mean,
they're a force.
It's the same team we were talking about all year that, they didn't lose a game between September and November, mid-November. They were just winning. No one was paying attention. They're just winning up in Philly and just, they won again. And, Saquon rushed.
They'll collapse again.
Saquon rushed for 220 again. Oh, okay. Well, A.J. Brown had another 100-yard game. How many sacks they have? 6. Oh, that's impressive. I agree with you. I mean, the only thing that ever made us question this team was the off-the-field stuff. If you want to say, if you only looked at team A, B, and C, right? You don't know who the head coach is or anything like the blind piece. You look at the Eagles, they're the best team in the NFL. If you look at just a purely stats, purely how they win games, third down percentage, all of that, they're the best team in the NFL. But we've talked about distractions in this league are really hard to overcome. They're really hard to week in and week out just continue to be like, oh, yeah, we'll just ignore it, or that wasn't that big of a deal. It's fine. Stop asking me. It's almost like they've normalized it, right? To Philly, the team, it's just another Tuesday. I'm going to have to answer a stupid question.
But that's the city, too.
I'm going to have to answer a stupid question.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to answer a dumb question about my receiver reading a book, or I'm going to have to answer a stupid question about my head coach flipping the bird to the fans. Just Tuesday, right? It's just Tuesday. They've normalized the distractions in Philly, which is why it doesn't distract them anymore.
Yeah. And to be fair, I don't think that, I wanted Washington to win. I thought what Jaden Daniels was doing was awesome, and I thought that the whole piece of, the head coach, I'm trying to think of his name.
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. I'm finally he can get over this 28-3 thing. No, that's gonna linger for another year. But at the same time, dude, Philly offensively, they always look amazing, right? Saquon, and we'll get to him in a minute. But I think for me, it's defensively what they've been able to do this year. They rush 4 all time. That's all they do. They just bring the same 4 guys the entire time. They just move where they line up. They twist them. They slant them. They're constantly moving around. Zach Bond's having a hell of a year. Cooper DeJean's having a fucking hell of a year. Darius Slay. Everyone's showing up in such a big way defensively that offensively, they're just demolishing people. They are. And, dude, we went into this game, and one of the biggest things that we were worried about for them was not having Cam Jurgens. We were like, dude, Cam Jurgens is out. That's not. And it got a little dicey in there for a minute, and all of a sudden Landon Dickerson got hurt, and Cam had to go in. And it's kind of like, dude, the biggest problem that they're facing right now is their health up front. Other than that, this team is dominant. There's no question. Dude, Saquon touched the ball the first time, ran 60 fucking yards like he wasn't even trying. He was.
I think he almost hurt himself because he wasn't like warmed up yet.
Yeah, he was like, oh,
right?
wait,
We're
going?
He comes on the sideline. He's like rubbing on his calf. He's like, dude, the body wasn't ready yet. Like, I wasn't supposed to
that's the
60.
biggest. That's the biggest worry is you get to the Super Bowl and we bust off an 80-yard run too early and our running back
Saquon's not warm yet.
Well, how about here's the crazy thing. I touched the ball the second time. I run it in for a 5-yard score. All of a sudden, I'm like, holy shit. This is epic. This is going to be, dude, he ended the game with 3 touchdowns. And that is going to be KC's biggest problem because KC wants to rush the passer. They are built to rush the passer. I want to blitz you. I want to do all these things. All of a sudden, you look back here and see 26, and you're like, do I want to position myself that if we get out leveraged, he's gone and no one's catching him? You're not going to catch up to him. You're not going to tackle him. He's going to take you out. Instantly, this becomes an Eagles game, right? They're like, hey, if we can just stay into manageable situations, 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, this game is ours to be had. Why? Because we're just going to continue to hand it off. And by the way, once Saquon went down, Shipley jumps in and he busts off like an 80-yard touchdown. And I was like, they're just built to run the ball. They are physically
That was pretty
built.
funny, man. He's looking up at
Dominant.
the Jumbotron, knowing then he cradles the ball.
Yeah.
He sees him close it
Dominant,
I'm
dude.
going to get caught.
I mean,
I'm too white for this.
By the way, the 7 rushing touchdowns they had, one more than the Dallas Cowboys had all regular season.
Oh, Jerry Jones catching strays. Shots fired. That's
okay.
a shots fired fine.
It's okay.
I'll gladly eat that fine.
That's pretty.
To be fair,
it's pretty bad.
You know, and I said this to you guys during the game. One team looked like, hey, we know what this game's about. We understand the massive magnitude of what an NFC Championship game in our home stadium feels like, smells like, tastes like, right? The other team was kind of just panicked. Like, I really just felt like the first time all year I saw not just Jaden Daniels, but the entire Washington Commanders panic. Fumbling the opening kickoff, Luke McCaffrey drops it. Right? I mean, it didn't end up being a problem, but just kind of from that moment on, you were just like, one team's tight, one team's like, we've handled this business before, and you can't turn the ball over 4 times in the NFC Championship game.
No, especially not when you're away. When you're an away
when
team.
you're an away team, you're feeding the beast to the home crowd.
Did you see what they did off those 4 turnovers?
Yeah,
28 points. 28.
28?
28
right?
points.
I mean,
Wow.
that's just something
you beat yourself.
cannot do. The average starting field position for the first half for the Eagles was like the Commanders 48.
It was terrible.
Right? Like they never had to go the distance. And when you just have a running game like that, that's just lean on you. And Deron Payne being out was massive. I mean, Newton's going to be a really good player in this league for a long time. But Payne and Allen, the combination, like that's what was able to get them to stop Saquon a little bit in the week 12 or 13 matchup whenever they played. Him being out, massive blow. I mean, Frankie Louvu trying to do crazy Superman things over the goal line was
We're going to talk
wild.
about that.
But, yeah, I mean, it just, for me, it looked like one team that panicked and was like, holy shit, this is the NFC Championship game. And the other team that was like, again, distractions are normal. It's the NFC Championship game. Nothing really phases me anymore, right? Is my coach going to yell at the fans? Are they going to boo me here if something bad happens? Who cares? It's just another Sunday.
How easy is it to walk into a game when the first play is a 60-yard touchdown, when a toss? Like, instantly you're like, there's no fucking chance we're losing this game, right? This guy just busted. One
Fowler
guy
gets ejected into Bobby Wagner's feet.
Oh, dude.
And that's what ends up making that whole play. Is Fowler
Which is
gets
great.
displaced like crazy.
Once again, you're not ready for it. But at the same time, when you have that as the first play, instantly everyone can take a deep breath and go, oh, we got 26 back here. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. These guys have no idea what they're doing.
Did you catch the strays they threw at the Giants in the fourth quarter?
How could you not?
Right? They're like, oh, Giants fans are going to have a hard time sleeping tonight. Right? I was like, oh, that's a shot. And then Tom Brady hits it with, yeah, that was a giant mistake. I was like, dude, they're dead. Right? The horse is beaten.
No,
again.
Stop.
Again.
Kick it again. Kick it again.
Again, Tom. Again.
I'm going to make you guys do some math here real quick. So,
hold on, let me get my pen.
how many rushing yards would you guess the Eagles have so far through regular and postseason?
Oh gosh,
2,800 is what I'm going to say.
They actually have more than that in the regular season alone.
Yeah, I was gonna say 31.
35.
They have 3,700 rushing yards.
They have more yards than some people had passing this year. Dude, that's why they're so fucking dominant.
What's the closest?
3,000.
What's the closest team to them?
Well, in the regular season, I don't have everyone's regular plus postseason, but they are the. Now you're playing 17 games, so the total is going to be higher. But they are the seventh. Let's see. There's been 7 teams in NFL history who've rushed for 3,000 yards in the regular season. This is great. Ravens 2019, Ravens 2024, Ravens 2020 helps to have 1,000-yard rushing quarterback.
2021.
But then it's like, Patriots 1978.
That doesn't count. Get the fuck out.
I'm assuming the O.J. Simpson Buffalo Bills from 1973, and then believe it or not, a 3 or 4 win Justin Fields Bears team from 2022.
Yeah, that's when he couldn't throw the football. He was just a glorified running back there. They just basically ran Wildcat. It was like Derek McFadden when he was in Arkansas.
Yeah. But in terms of if you go like rush yards per game, it's one of the 15-ish most prolific. And this is a league that goes back 100 years. Mm-hmm. You had decades where the forward pass was like once in a while he's gonna drop back now.
He's doing it.
Receiver runs into the goalpost at the goal line. Knocks himself out.
Drops it.
It's old school. It is old school what they're doing.
I mean,
man.
Saquon had that quote. Saquon had that quote to Aaron during the week that she shared. Was like, I want to show that a team can get and win the Super Bowl still running the football. It's like, oh, well, there's your mission statement, right?
So how do the Chiefs... I mean, because like all these other teams, the Rams already had it happen once in the regular season, happened 285 down their throat. So you're the Chiefs for the next 2 weeks, and you're thinking, okay, we're not letting them run for 200 yards on us. We're not letting Saquon Barkley rip off a 65-yard dagger. But how do you – that offensive line is just moving people. Yep. It's not like – I mean, there's some scheme, obviously, but – it's Mekhi Becton is moving people.
Yeah, and that's why they do it, though. Why do you run the ball? Because it's simple and it's effective, right? And when you have huge, massive offensive linemen like we talked about up front with Mekhi Becton, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, and they can run, man, it makes it easy for all of us to do a lot of things. I think one of the things that you don't do is you don't blitz up the middle, because the minute you blitz up the middle, you kind of pressure yourself into this cooker. And all of a sudden, we're just going to create this massive wall down. Like the minute we see it, everyone's just going to be like, hey, down right now. We're all going to pin it down and everything's going to pull around. And that's what Saquon loves. And that's what they love. They love pulling their guard and their tackle backside, and instantly it becomes this stutter counter, right? And they do this read situation where it's like, okay, is Saquon going to get it, or all of a sudden is Jalen Hurts going to take it? Here's what, hear me. Being one of the guys that used to love this read system, the only way you can defeat it is if you attack the mesh point of the read, right? Like you have to send somebody right now to attack the quarterback, because what it does is it puts pressure on the quarterback to be like, do I want to keep this or do I want to hand this? And at the same time, you're hoping that something bad's going to happen. Someone's going to fumble the ball. He's going to make the wrong read at the last second. This guy's going to be able to tackle both of them. What don't you want to do? I don't want to be blitzing corner cats on the inside. Why? Because if I get outside of that, there's no more catching me. Right? So instantly, all the things that we saw last week, it's like, maybe we don't want to do this. We don't want to put 7 guys inside the box, because if they get outside that box, you're going to be sorry. What do we want to do? Yeah. Maybe we want to blitz outside the box more. Keep contained inside. I want to pressure from the outside to show that it forces everything back inside to Chris Jones and all these guys that are huge in the middle. Do not get stuck in the middle. We used to do this with Todd Bowles. And if we see it coming, instantly everyone's like, hey, Zorro, right now. And it's just a wave of players running. And if you get Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Mekhi Becton on a fucking zone, good luck if you blitzed them in the middle. Like, you did that to yourself. Now, at the same time, the minute you read passing situation, you flip it. And you're like, we need to throw everything at them that they haven't seen. We need to get after Jalen Hurts. We need to make sure he can't get outside the pocket. We need to contain him from within, because he's able to get outside, run the ball. I thought he did a better job last week of getting outside of pressure and throwing it away. Like, you know what? There's nothing here. I'm just going to go. Instantly, I was like, this guy's starting to figure it out. It's the same thing going into the Super Bowl. don't do too much. Certainly versus the Chiefs, because every time you give them the ball, you give Patrick Mahomes a chance to fucking cut your throat. So it's like, hey, let's be smart. Let's be simple. We have great receivers on the outside. Let's make things happen quick, right? And then a minute that they start falling asleep, then we hit them deep. You just have to be disciplined. And it's so hard to say that because it's the biggest game of the year, and you're like, I'm gonna be the guy. I'm gonna be the tone setter. I'm gonna switch this whole game up. And it's like, no. Big plays are gonna happen like at the end of quarter 2, maybe the end of quarter 3. But until then, we're gonna stick to the game plan. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna play action. We're gonna fucking bottle this shit up. We're gonna be fine, dude. If there was a team that could do it, that could set these three-peaters the other way, it would have to be this Eagles team and Saquon. You got to give it to Saquon.
Yeah, I mean, and I think if you're looking at it from a Spagnuolo perspective, what do we want to try and make them do? Let's make them throw it, right? Let's if we have to try and make them one-dimensional on one side of the ball, all right. I'd rather A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith beat me than Saquon Barkley.
But that's also like those are.
I agree.
They had the fewest pass attempts.
We just got done talking about in the last one with the Bills that what's the strength of the Chiefs defense right now? It's their secondary, right? So I'm pulling my secondary in, and I'm saying, all right, McDuffie, like you guys want to earn your money here? We're playing man coverage, safeties. One of you is going to stay high. The other one, you're hanging out at 12 yards, and you're going wherever 26 goes. If he goes left, you go left. He goes right, you go right. You're going to have to chase him down because, as we've seen in the last 6 weeks, if Saquon gets to the secondary, it's a touchdown, right? It's not a, oh, there's a 12-yard run. It's, oh, there's those 40 again, right? Banging my head against the wall. You have to put almost a spy as a safety, as weird as this is to say, on Saquon Barkley. Right?
And even then, if he gets a 10-yard running head start.
But if you need to play single high coverage, drop either the strong or the free safety down to 11 or 12 yards, right? And if they read full flow that way, they have to find a way to disrupt in the backfield. They can't wait for Saquon to come across the line of scrimmage. You have to disrupt, read and react, pull the trigger, and try and funnel everything back like we've talked about. It's going to be really interesting to see how Spags uses his safeties on early downs against.
So real quick,
Eagles
two-part question, because I'm not disagreeing. Like you should go in and make sure he doesn't run for 200 yards on you. But two-part question: A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, not production but talent. How many duos are better than those two guys? Maybe T. Higgins, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
But those guys block too. Those guys get out and help the run game.
I think that J.J. and Jordan Addison are getting close to them, but I think that they probably sit at the 1 or 2 spot. I mean, they're
so call them top 3 duo, for sure top 5. So my second question is the solution to winning the Super Bowl for the Chiefs
probably 2
is to essentially say, hey, third best wide receiver duo and a pretty good quarterback. We're gonna just take our chances. I mean, this is what nobody understands. Like at some point, you're looking down a double barrel gun, and you're like, okay, we're either gonna get the ball ran down our fucking throat, and what's everybody gonna say? Boy, you're real fucking stupid, aren't you? Or we shut the run down and they beat us, and maybe you forgot a word. Maybe they beat us through the air, right? Instantly, you're starting to go, I can live with that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not fucking Saquon. How many times are the Giants going to get rolled through the mud? Even as much as I bring them on this show, you wonder why. We all have a little bit of a vendetta because you fucked one of the best running backs in the history of the NFL, and now he just turned around and took this team to the Super Bowl. He did it. He did it. I want everyone to hear that. Saquon is the reason you're going to the fucking Super Bowl. Do you know why?
A lot of Eagles fans in the video breakdown were not happy with your hate towards Jalen Hurts.
I don't give a flying fuck what anyone's mad about. I'm telling you right now, the reason you're walking into the Super Bowl is Saquon Barkley. And guess what? If you win it, it'll be because of Saquon Barkley. You've been here before. We've seen this song. Wait a minute. I'm almost positive that 2 years ago I saw this same fucking matchup. How did it end? If it ends any differently, it's because of Saquon. Let's not be stupid. But that's why everyone's dragging the Giants through the mud, because they're like, look, you let this guy walk out the door. Oh, my God, you're so stupid.
Hey, we did a Hall of Fame thing. We in the part 1 here. How many Hall of Famers on the Chiefs roster? On Saquon, so I think he's a Hall of Famer now because he just ran for 2,000 yards. But in terms of a 1-year jump in Hall of Fame status, I don't think he was a Hall of Famer at all in terms of productivity. He had 3,000-yard rushing seasons in 6. His highest career number was 1,300 yards. Like, he was productivity, a good solid productivity. Has anyone made a larger one-year jump off the top of your heads in Hall of Fame candidacy than Saquon going to the Eagles and rushing for 2,000 yards and helping to carry this team?
I mean,
like, he's in now, I think.
I'm trying to think of somebody that came in like right away and just you were like, whoa,
Kurt Warner, right? Kurt Warner.
I mean,
no,
I can't think of anybody. But the problem, and this is kind of unfair.
Maybe
because,
I mean,
listen.
if Jefferson continues this dynamic, Justin Jefferson that he's on, right? If he keeps getting better,
but have we
year,
seen it? No, we haven't seen anybody come in like this. But here's my thing: when he was with the Giants, the system. Oh, don't even. I'm having PTSD.
Aaron Donald when he was a rookie, and you were like, yeah, that guy's he's gonna be in Canton. Like,
I swear to God, when the pyro went off on that Monday night game, and he went running out, and they're like, "You're starting 3 technique." Everybody looked at me and was like, "Good luck, bud."
Yeah,
good luck. I was like,
"You're gonna die tonight." Actually.
No, he only played on the right side too. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. But no, listen, I'm not going to be a dick to the Giants that bad. What they're doing in Philly was not being done with the Giants before, right? Daboll was not this guy that was like, we're going to line up in 12 personnel. Fuck these guys. He was more like, let's spread them out. Let's do all different things. We can screen pass it. Remember, they were the ones that started to run Saquon through the line and people would get meshed off. And it was like, man, this is great. They used him differently. This team has physically been like, let's put this load on his shoulders. Okay, bud, go out there for us, okay? Yeah. That's what they're doing. And that's why it's like, holy shit. Not only did everyone this year know what was going to happen, but they answered the bell. Every single time they showed up and they were like, you got to stop this guy. And then once you stop him, you got to stop everybody out here. And that's where it's like, oh my God, this could be dreadful. Who could do it? The Chiefs. Because Jay's right. What are we going to do? We're going to do everything we can to get them to throw this ball. I want you to make a mistake. I want to throw pressure at you. I want Chris Jones to hit your quarterback. I don't want to be chasing 26 around the field the whole day.
I mean, what's really crazy though is you talk about their off-season free agent signings, right? Saquon Barkley was obviously the headliner. Right, clearly. You paid running back $13 million a year. That was unheard of, right? But then you go Zach Bond,
huge
on
ad.
A 1-year deal, All Pro. Mekhi Becton on a 1-year deal,
huge pickup.
Like, as a busted left tackle.
Now he's a right guard.
Take a flyer on a guy.
Yeah,
gonna go make probably close to $18 million a year next year would be my guess, right?
Wow.
I think Trey Smith's probably the first. Obviously, the number one guard in free agency. He's a $100 million guard, right? He's going to get the 22, 23 a year. But, I mean, it's hard for me not to say that Mekhi Becton is the second or third guard in free agency.
If you could send one of these guys to my Vikings, that'd be great.
The Vikings don't pay guards. You know better than that. They're gonna draft one in the fourth and throw him out there and be like, he'll be fine.
They might want to just fix the problem. Just fix the problem.
If it were only that easy, Mackey. If it were only that easy, right? Just pay him.
But I mean, their free agent additions, and then the way that they built that defensive line through the draft, right?
Yes.
Kobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, right? Those are all homegrown Philly guys, all straight from Georgia, but they're all homegrown Philly guys, right?
Yes, they are.
And if you can build your nucleus of your core on defense through the draft, and then you can hit on a few low-level free agents that become high-level contributors, that's how you get a team that's like this.
Howie Roseman,
right?
baby.
I mean, Howie Roseman should be up for GM of the year with what he was able to do and who he signed and who he drafted this year and how well they're contributing.
Dude, he is such a shark, Howie Roseman. Like, he is one of the guys that he looks so unassuming. And then you're like, wait, he did all that in one offseason? Holy shit. Like,
Dappy's dapping up the coaches with 2 minutes left in the game still.
Yeah.
Just right on the sidelines.
Dude, I'm all about it.
Next dumb football question for you guys to put a bow on the Commander side. What next for the Commanders? What do the next 5 years look like for the Commanders?
I think it looks great, and I'm excited because, honestly, I think that this team has needed this rejuvenation, and I love the fact that Dan Snyder was super mad that they were winning. I love that. There's no better karma than that. The dude is such a dick. I'm not kidding you. We've heard so many stories, and
like,
it's been from
like
law enforcement to stories.
Put a little like, save a little face, right? Be like, you know what? Good for
them.
We laid the ownership. We laid the foundation for
like
that.
we
no,
really.
All the reports are pissed.
No, he's like, these mother truckers, man.
Yeah, no, I honestly think that Dan Quinn is going to he's doing a great job, right? You have obviously one of the hardest things you've done in the draft. You've hit on a quarterback, a phenomenal quarterback. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. Thought he did a great job. I think you turn around and you say, okay, now we need to take the next step, right? We did a lot this year, and we all came together in 1 year. Now we need to take a great offseason. We need to work. We need to learn. You look at this team, they're built in a lot of ways. I think one of the things that hurt them is their run game. If you could have given it a little bit more, right? Like if you could have just extended
they fell
it.
Behind. So
yeah, and that's the problem is like you fall behind and then all of a sudden it becomes whose game now? Their game because they want to rush the passer. Hello. That's why I'm like, listen, I was hoping that Robinson and Jaden Daniels could get something going early because it's like if you can just threaten them with the run and get down the field a little bit and extend these drives, maybe keep the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands, you could have a chance to win this game. But the minute that they shut down that run game in fucking nickel, you're like, okay, here's your problem. If you can't beat it, because we used to go into games and the coaches would say, listen, if we can't take them out of nickel the entire game, we're going to lose. Why? Because they're just going to rush the passer. And if 4 guys can stop a run play, we're fucking stupid. So you want them in base. And the minute that they don't come out of nickel, you're like, we're not beating them. And they have one less big guy than us. What's going on? They're dominating us with tiny guys on the field. What are we doing wrong? Instantly, that becomes the game plan. Hey, let's just keep doing what we're doing. They can't run the ball. We're going to fucking force all. The first play of the game was a sack. It's like they almost underestimated Jalen Carter. I was like, hello.
With no Sam Cosmi.
Hello.
Yeah.
What are we doing? This is like Aaron Donald, and we're like, no. Slide away. Slide away from him. Whoa.
You have to do the same thing the Bills have been trying to do for the last 5 years. You have to build your team to beat Philly.
Right.
So you have to continue to bolster the interior of your defensive line. You're probably gonna have to find an answer for Bobby Wagner leaving because he's getting up there with age. I don't know if he's gonna want to go for another.
He might
year.
go one more. Come on, give Bobby
he might,
love.
But he's a free agent. He might want to go reunite with his boy Petey over in the Raiders.
He won't.
Right. Frankie Louvu's fantastic.
No, he's not. That's bullshit. And the fact that he kept jumping over the line of scrimmage, that was the
what
most
did you make of
annoying
that?
thing in the world. I thought it was the most childish thing. Like, okay, I get it once. You got called for
Dude,
it.
he's trying to stop it. He stopped it earlier in the game. He stopped it earlier in the game doing it.
Dude, Ed Hockley came up and was like, one more time and we're going to give him the points. You know how embarrassing that is?
Did you
if
know
you
that
can't
was
stop
a
acting
rule?
like a Yes, absolutely.
I
you have
didn't.
3 chances.
But now that Mahomes does, we're all fucked.
Dude, if you continuously jump off sides, it's like it happened on a field goal a couple years ago. They kept jumping, and finally he came out and was like, if they do it again, we're going to give them the try, and we're going to give them 15-yard penalty. That means you're acting like a bitch. Got it? Stop acting like a bitch.
He wasn't.
No, he was, because he kept jumping off sides, and Ed Hockley was like, if you do it again, I'm just going to give them the touchdown. They don't even have to cross the plane. That's fucking stupid, Jay. That's Pop Warner shit. Hold your water like every other pro and stop the tush push.
Only way
you can't stop it, then shut up.
It's the only way they were able to
So you're telling me the only way to stop it is just be like, hey, just give him the touchdown.
But then how come they're still giving the other guy shit when the D lineman jumped off sides? Like at one point, the Eagles, it's like, just snap the ball. Just snap the ball. Stop with this nonsense. You're on the inch-yard line, bro. You're on the inch-yard line.
Did you see what happened when they did?
Stop.
Did you see what happened when they did?
Yes, they scored.
They walked
right?
in.
Like,
that's why I'm like,
the
what are you
ball.
doing? What are you doing?
Like, for me, that's Nick Sirianni being a little child, right?
No, it's
like,
not. It's Louvu being a child.
Ha ha ha! Hard to like.
Oh, I
no,
loved it.
Just
I
snap
loved
the
it.
football.
No, and I'm against exotic snap counts on the goal line. That is a no-no.
Yes.
That is the biggest no. But what did they say in the huddle? These guys just can't help themselves. So we're going to not even have a fucking play. Hey, we're going to go no snap, no play on the dub. Ready? That's what they did. That's how fucking childish Louvu is. Because the minute he went hut, he pulled out right away and was like, I know he's going to jump over this line. I didn't like it. I thought it was childish. I'm sorry.
No.
And you know what? I wanted him to do it again so that Ed Hockley could be like, God damn it, I told you. Touchdown. That's right. The ball didn't cross the goal line. This is the first time in the history of the NFL we've ever had to do this.
I feel like Sean Hockley was being a little over dramatic.
No, he wasn't. He
Yes.
was getting mad like me.
Dramatic.
No, he wasn't. He was like,
If
are you a
they
pro?
do it again, I'm giving them the score. It's like, okay, calm down.
He jumped
there,
off
Ed.
sides like 3 times. Everyone eventually is like, enough, dude. God damn it.
But it wasn't. I didn't think it was as egregious as you were talking about. If you don't try and jump the snap count against the tush push, you're not stopping it. Like if you don't try and jump the snap count and beat them to the punch, you're not stopping.
Sounds
the tush
like
push.
a you problem, not a me fucking problem. Sounds like your nose tackles should be bigger. I don't know what to tell you, Jay. We all played the same game. You jump off sides that many times in a row, and everyone's like, dude, seriously? Now we're just gonna fuck with you for sure. I'm with it.
But it is funny how there's a few little like vortexes in the NFL rule book where you can kind of break the game.
Oh yeah.
And when you get into these situations where a penalty doesn't actually move the ball anymore, because you can only slice that yardage so much until the ball is where it is.
It was on the 1 inch line.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, doesn't matter at this point. Okay. Let's do at least one more here. Dumb football question from the last time we recorded. The Raiders, Bears, and Cowboys were still looking for coaches. So here's my question for you.
Here we go.
Who made the best hire and who made the worst hire? Raiders, Pete Carroll. Bears, Ben Johnson. Cowboys, Brian Schottenheimer.
By the way, I just want you both to apologize.
For what?
You laughed at me when I brought up Pete Carroll's name.
I agree with you. I agree.
I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, no, I no one said it's a good idea or bad idea.
Boone.
We just said
Great hire.
the fact that he's out there shows you
76-year-old Pete Carroll in Vegas.
You know what the problem is?
73, okay.
Jay's never
Sweet.
played for him, so he doesn't understand how cool this fucking guy is.
Idea.
It's
a
not
terrible.
It's
idea,
not.
Dude.
It's
Mahomes is ecstatic about that hire because it's just now another 2-0 record for him.
But who's saving the? Here's my take
It's
on
still
this.
not even the worst hire. I'm going to go with
like-
Brian Schottenheimer.
Hold on. There's like 4 franchises that are beyond like this is where I thought the Bears would have been better off with a Mike McCarthy. The Bears, the Jets, the Raiders are beyond the trendy coordinator coming in to fix the franchise. You need someone who's bigger than that. Someone who can hold off an ownership group, Mark Davis, etc. I love the Pete Carroll hire.
I do too.
I've been Team Boone I thought the Bears should have looked at him.
Dude,
Jets should have looked at him.
The
Just for like
culture
3
that he
years to
builds.
fix your franchise. Just get
watch.
it back to
Just
9
watch.
wins.
Look
Look at Jay.
Okay.
Jay's a bug. Go get your
Hey,
Chiefs. Go
you
get your
guys
Chiefs.
You
flag,
can go
dude.
sit there and watch his Bills continue to not roll that rock up the hill, and we'll see what they do. Don't worry.
We'll see
I will say this.
around in Vegas.
Why couldn't he turn it around in Vegas?
He's not. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
let's
see.
hire. Let's
Steak and
hire
a beer on it
another
right now. Steak and a
75.
beer on it right now.
That what? They
Next
go
year.
what? They
Next
go
year,
what?
the Raiders
What record?
make it
What
in.
record?
Oh, they're making it in and they beat
Make-
the Bills in the playoffs. Yeah.
Sure.
Steak
Sign
and a
it
beer
up.
right
I'll
now.
Put it on the board, man.
Hey, Pete, you know I love you, baby.
That would
I
be-
will
Hey,
never
has
turn
a
against you.
division ever had 4 Hall of Fame coaches at the same time?
Oh.
Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh,
You
Sean
think Jim
Payton.
Harbaugh's a Hall of Fame coach.
He will be. Yeah. He'll get one.
Played 22 years and he's coached for another 20.
He's never won a
He's-
Super Bowl.
He's still he's young.
There's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that haven't won the Super Bowl too. It's not a requisite.
As
No,
a
I would
coach,
say he'll get one.
a lot of coaches. Most coaches in the Hall of Fame, I would argue most coaches in the Hall of Fame have won.
Most
at least
coaches
you need-
didn't
yeah,
play
you need-
22 years though. That's the problem. Eventually
Is
they're going to look at the
Is
whole
Now,
Marty
who's
Schottenheimer?
bias? Whose bias is coming out now? All right. Yeah, no. The
Oh,
Schottenheimer
Sean
hire-
McDermott will be there. Don't worry.
No,
he'll
he
for
won't.
sure be.
He
Don't
will
worry.
not.
He'll be
I
there.
didn't say he
No,
wouldn't.
you did. You did. It's cool.
You're getting really sensitive over there. Anytime I bring up
You're
Daddy
getting an
Harbaugh.
instigator fine in a
Anytime I
minute.
bring up Daddy Harbaugh, you get real upset.
Nobody said
No one
anything.
talks about my dad like that.
You know what? Give him an instigator fine.
For
Give it
what?
to him. Go ahead.
For what?
Go ahead.
Instigator. I
Palms.
simply said that I don't think that
Palms.
Harbaugh is a Hall of Fame coach right now. I don't. And you were like, well, the dad? Yeah, dad'll get in.
I thought Mackey made up a great point. 4 Hall of Fame coaches in the same. I love it. It's going to make the AFC West so much better. It's going to be so exciting. I can't
Steak
wait.
and a beer. Jim Harbaugh. This is like a 10-year future
10-year
bet
thing.
here. A steak in 10 years.
I'm
Jim
guaranteed
Harbaugh
for that
gets
steak
in
and beer. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in. That
I'm
he
in
does
on that.
not. He
Guaranteed.
won't. He won't be in. His brother has a better chance.
Such
to
a
be in than him.
hater. You are such a hater.
John has
Of
a better
course,
chance.
John's going to get
John
in.
has a
John's
better
in now.
chance.
John's
John's in
guaranteed
now.
to get in. What?
Yeah, Jim's not
Yes.
getting in.
Ben Johnson, by the way.
Oh, so I do like the Ben.
He's getting in for sure based on that first.
I think
press
we all
conference.
like the Ben
he
Johnson
called out
hire.
Matt when he
called
called
out
out Matt
Uberfleur.
LaFleur. My first thought was,
LaFleur.
oh, they must be like buddies, and he's joking.
No,
No.
They're
No,
not friends.
They're not
friends at all. No.
Why
They're
would
not
you?
friends.
That's dude. Do you not just realize who Ben Johnson came from? Have you not met the head coach over there?
Yeah.
The guy's the biggest shit talking motherfucker in the world. You think he wasn't going to walk in like? By the way, I'm super excited, especially playing
But
my little
there's a-
stepbrother over there.
But there's like a charismatic suaveness to the way there's like a grizzled suaveness to the way that Dan Campbell does it. There was an antagonistic,
Oh, it was
almost
sharp.
socially awkward way to. It was a very what was the guy's name? Adam Gase. Even like his look
oh
without
my
the hat.
God, you did not.
It
bring up
reminded me
Gase.
more of Adam Gase
Don't
than
say that.
Dan
That's
Campbell.
bad,
for
dude.
sure.
That's so bad. You can't. That's a bad aura to start with.
It was
I
like
mean,
he was trying to project an
Well,
image of
Toughness.
something.
He was
It
trying to
weird.
project like a little too much toughness, and I agree with you. But I do think I'm just generally curious. Anytime anytime the coach makes the jump from coordinator to head coach for the first time, I'm always curious what that's going to look like. Because it's usually feast or famine. Mm-hmm. Very rarely is it like, oh, it went okay, right? Like it was an average year. They won 9 games. Like it was fun. It's usually like out of the gate hot, 10, 11 wins, or oh shit, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. 5, 6 wins, try and figure their life out. But I think that it was the only hire they had the chance to, because what are the Bears known for? Taking Trubisky and missing on Mahomes, right? Always being one step behind. If they wouldn't have made a giant push and went all in for Ben Johnson, and they let the Jets or the Raiders or someone else take him, and he goes and be's one of the next greats, they're going to live in purgatory hell again. Like they couldn't do that to themselves again.
But so their 2 finalists, based on their dinners and everything, were Mike McCarthy and Ben Johnson. I know that Ben Johnson's the shiny new toy, and he calls trick plays and double reverses and things. And Mike McCarthy is a buffoon who can't manage the clock, is sort of the perception. What about their resumes? Offensive guys, Mike McCarthy with 12-win season after 12-win season. What about those 2 guys says Ben Johnson has a better chance to bring the Bears to 10 wins than Mike McCarthy?
It's the fact that when you watch their offense, there's so many opportunities everywhere, right? It's how amazing can he spread people out and then pull everyone back in, and then all of a sudden we're running these trick plays and these trick reverses, and it seems like he's always dialed into the game. And if Jared Goff didn't get sizzled on that interception, then all of a sudden we still might have a chance, right? Like when you look at Ben, I understand why everyone likes him. He's super, like you said, super shiny toy, right? And he's going to have a million answers. And look at all these questions we have up here. And not only that, but he's going to help Caleb calm down a little bit. By the way, his outfit was ridiculous. That trench coat was just way too much for me. But at the same time,
he's a lot.
When you look at,
I
but that's what they
got
want.
with Ben and I just screamed. I was just so excited. I was
So
like,
excited.
God.
No, and that's the thing is like when you look at this, they're like, okay, well, which one of these guys is going to come in here, give us the best opportunity to win, and also calm this dude down a little bit, right? Like,
yeah, it's
make
Mike
him
McCarthy.
tough. No, it's not. It's Ben Johnson because he just came from. I think you'd be surprised.
They did what you're supposed to do is
Yes.
hire someone young in this league.
Yes.
That's what you're supposed to do.
They don't want to go old guy again because then the team's going to go, great, another old guy. Here we go. Fuck, man. Like, were we ever going to have fun, Mr. McCaskey? Can we ever do anything fun? Can we get the fucking pool table back?
I'm glad Jay brought this up because here's a list of coaches the Bears should have hired before Ben Johnson. Number 1, Mike McCarthy. Number 2, Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Let's start right there.
You want to just go right into Grandpa, huh? Just straight
Just
to
give
Grandpa's.
me 3 years of stability. Let's bring a leader in here who knows
That's
what he's
the Cowboys
doing.
did.
What was that, by the way?
I think that
So the Cowboys wait forever to not renew McCarthy. They don't hire any of the top candidates.
Promote from within.
Question.
What happened?
Serious question. Do you think Shoddy went up there and was like, I could do a better job? Hey.
No, I think
They whipped on
I
Dion,
think,
right?
I think Jerry made a bunch of calls, and every single person was like,
I'm
"I realize you just paid that quarterback $60 million, right? I don't want to be a part of that. That's gonna put my name up in flames too." And Jerry's like, "It's okay, we'll work around it." And they're like, "I think I'm good. I think I'm gonna pass." Hey, Marty, is your son still around?
Marty, I got a question for you. Does Brian want the job?
Was Brian want the job?
I mean,
I'm waiting for Marty to be put back on staff.
Well,
Right,
he died 3 years ago.
Did Marty die?
Which might actually.
I thought Marty. I didn't know Marty
There's
died.
a joke about the Cowboys coaching staff where Marty Schottenheimer, rest his soul, might still be a better coach than some of the staff.
Marty Ball, baby. I remember growing up watching Marty Ball with the Chargers. Marty Ball.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
Didn't
I
they
think
fire him after a
Here's the
13-win
problem.
season
Yes.
once.
Yes.
I think he's a placeholder.
I think it was 14.
I think
They were
he's a
14-2.
placeholder. I think Jerry realized that no coach is going to want to take this job with Dak Prescott contract. B, want to take this job when Jerry sits over the top of you with every decision you make, every personnel decision you make, every conference, like
Rod Power.
yeah, every Monday he's in front of a microphone, right? Like
It's wild.
the high level coaches in this league are smart enough to understand that's a death sentence. That's a death sentence. Like this is yes, I got to call myself a head coach in this league for a couple years, right? But is that worth going and just failing miserably? No. Right? So and then Zimmer just comes out, he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm just gonna retire. Right? Like he literally was like, I'm not doing this. Like, because I think he thought I was next in line.
he did.
Right? Zimmer, I think he was like, I'm next in line. I'll be the head coach, and they were like, we're gonna go with Shoddy here. And
If
Zimmer was like,
if you're the Cowboys,
I'm retiring.
Would you rather have Brian Schottenheimer or Mike? Who wins more games in the next 3 years?
Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer as a head coach?
Mike Zimmer.
I agree.
Mike Zimmer does.
100%.
Yeah.
And so
we're not stupid, dude.
Yeah, and so it's Mike felt jaded, and if anyone holds a grudge, it's Mike Zimmer, and he just said, you know what? I'm just going to retire too. Now that all the good coordinators are off and everyone else has gotten hired all around the league, now I retire.
Yep, man.
They'll just promote from within. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Super. I think they got. I think Dion shot him down. I think he might have back channeled to a couple college guys too, because I mean, Jimmy Johnson he plucked from Miami back 40 years ago. I think he might have hit up Sarkisian. There were some rumblings there. He might have even hit up my Notre Dame guy, Marcus Freeman. It felt like he back channeled.
They all got extensions.
Yeah. And so Brian comes in.
You just call Saban.
I was going to say, do you think I want to know this? And
that's another guy on my Bears list. Bears should have hired Nick Saban.
Hey, I wonder if he called Belichick. I wonder if Jerry called Belichick like, hey,
because there was an out in that North Carolina conference. But again, Belichick's not going to relinquish control to Jerry.
No, you said it.
There's no way Belichick's going to come in there and be like, by the way, I am now GM. And Jerry goes, no, I'm GM. And then this is not going to work.
Dude, I guarantee you, Bill looked at his phone and was like, Jerry, nah, we're good.
I know what this is about.
I cannot be handcuffed by this idiot. Not going to happen. Sorry.
So, coaching carousel, crazy the last
Way to go,
weeks.
Pete. I'm officially a Raiders fan again.
That's right. Booney and I
Go ahead,
on
Jay,
the side
be
of the
salty.
old people.
Be salty about the old grandpa in the room.
Great when they
I'll
win
bet it is.
6 games next year.
It is.
Jay's got to travel for the next 12 hours. Agent Jay making his way.
Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl this week. Should be a fun week, man. It's a big one.
Week.
Mobile, Alabama.
We'll figure time. I'm just glad it's not snowing there like it was last week. That would have sucked.
Holy cow, man. Crazy. So we'll do some film breakdowns, and we'll get Jay's full Senior Bowl report too in the next week. All right, dudes. For Booney, for Jay, I'm Phil. Those are your dumb football questions. This is the O-Line Committee.